Welcome to our program, Consciousness in Evolution. We are live from our YouTube channel, Consciousness in Evolution, and Facebook page, Reaprendência International. Consciousness in Evolution is a program from Reaprendência International that enables access to information about parapsychic phenomena, bioenergies, projection of the consciousness, multiple lives, and so much more. In today's webinar, we have Eliane Wojslaw, who is joining us with the theme Consciousness and its 4 Vehicles of Manifestation. Are we taking good care of them? We would like to remind everybody joining us today, please feel free to send in any questions you may have. We will try to answer them during this presentation. Any questions that aren't answered live will be posted later on in the comment section. And if you want to know more about parapsychic phenomena, evolution of the consciousness, and the Consciontology, you can subscribe to our channel, visit our page, and follow us on social media, where we will keep you updated on future courses and free webinars. All links are below in the description. Thank you for joining. Instructor Eliane Wojslaw has a Master in Language and Society, has a Bachelor in Arts. She has been a faculty professor for more than 20 years and a volunteer at Consciontology and the Consciontology instructor since 2000. Currently, she is coordinating the English language thesaurus of conscienciological terminology. Welcome, Eliane. The word is yours.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you very much for the opportunity of being here. I'm very happy, and thanks for everyone who's watching us. Well, let's get started. We have so much to talk about the holosoma. Okay. People, I would like to introduce to you that we are all volunteers of the conscienciocentric institution Reaprendência, that is a non-profit organization that specializes in conscienciology and education. It promotes a lot of activities that is based on parapedagogy, re-education, teachers formation, evolution, personal growth, paranormal phenomena, energy techniques, right? So if you want to join us when you are, and if you want to visit us when you are in Foz do Iguaçu, please contact us that we will show you our headquarters. It will be a great pleasure to have you here. And before we get started, I want to show you the principle of disbelief that is a premise of our studies, that is, don't believe in anything, not even in what you hear in this webinar. Experiment, have your own experiences. So maintain your critical thinking, try to question if what we are saying here has logic, okay? And feel free to send your doubts. Talking about conscienciology, that is the science that we are studying, and we are going to talk about the holosoma. What is that? We are going to present to you these new concepts. I want to show you, to present these 7 basic pillars that sustain the consciential paradigm. I'm going to go very briefly through them. And the first one is exactly about the holosoma, or it calls holosomatology. It means that we have vehicles, we have these bodies that we, the consciousnesses, manifest in multiple dimensions. So we have also number 2, that is multidimensionality. I'm going to show you today what are those multiple dimensions that we are constantly dealing with. Then we have number 3, that is seriality. It means that we have multiple lives. We have, for example, we are not here for the first time. We have had previous lives, and we will be continuing having them until a certain level of evolution. Another premise is the bioenergetics that says that our life is purely energetic, and we are the consciousnesses, but we constantly exchange energies with the environment and with each other. Number 5 is universalism. It says that we consciousnesses, we are basically universal. We can be born in a culture, and in another life we can be born in another culture, and our values, our essence remains the same because we are universal. Another premise is that our studies is based on cosmoethics, and all evolution is based on this cosmoethics. That means that there is not like human ethic. It's much more broader. It's also an universal ethics. So it's very important to mention that. And number 7 is self-research, that we all are constantly doing self-research. And it's very important that we know ourselves. And in terms of our lecture today, it's going to be very interesting for you to know yourself better, understanding how is your paraphysiology, in case the paraphysiology of those bodies of manifestation. Okay, so let's go ahead. The idea of bodies. In fact, it's an old idea. It's not from conscienciology, because since ancient times, several lines of studies and religions have named those bodies. So it's nothing new. It's pretty old, and we have also the premise here that of the hypothesis of the existence of the objective body. What is that? The objective body is a hypothesis that says that there is a second body beyond the physical one that is more material, and this second body, although it's more subtle, it exists, okay, in another dimension, and it's very similar, but more subtle. It's very similar to the physical body. And this idea of bodies also lead us to the idea of multiple lives and to the idea of multiple dimensions. And it's all ancient. I'm going to show you more a bit. For example, we have in the book Projectology, in the treatise Projectology, it's mentioned a study that says that we, in the world, we have 14 basic or the main schools of knowledge. And 6 of them are religions, 6 of them are philosophies, and 2 are sciences. From those 14 schools of knowledge, only 2 that are these ones in red here, only 2 don't accept the multidimensionality. Other 12 accept the existence of multiple dimensions in cosmos and life. So it's, as I told you, it's not something new. All schools of knowledge that you're seeing here, and those are the main ones, they exist, and they accept the idea and premise of multidimensionality and multiple bodies, right? So what conscienciology did, it is to update, to bring to a more clear version of this ancient knowledge. And that's what we are going to transmit to you today, inform to you today. Here is a summary of the theory of the objective body. I'm going to read for you. The hypothesis of the objective body is the old and natural parapsychic hypothesis for explaining lucid projections of the consciousness, based on the premise that the second body of the consciousness is real, although non-physical. So if we can say that if there is someone watching us that don't accept this hypothesis, so maybe this person's gonna have some kind of difficulty in accepting our ideas here. But I invite you to stay and to see what I'm saying has logic, because as I am presenting you a new perspective, you are going to think and see if that makes sense, and you can learn how to verify if what I'm saying is true. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to check on these bodies, their existence, and also to give you some ideas to develop them better. So entering in our main theme, we are going to talk about the holosoma. So holo means from Greek whole, total, and soma means body. So holosoma is the complete set of bodies through which the consciousness or the ego, we, manifests in the intraphysical and extraphysical dimensions. So it's divided in four. Soma, that is the physical body, EnergoSoma, or energy body, psychosoma, that is the emotional body, and mental soma, the intellectual body. We call them vehicles of manifestation of the consciousness. Here I have a picture representing the holosoma. For example, there is a person who is sleeping, and while is sleeping, just a second. While she's sleeping, the psychosoma goes out of the body, that is this vehicle here, that is the second body, more subtle, but a copy of the physical body. You can see that this psychosoma is connected with an appendix called silver cord. Okay, and there is a third body that is called EnergoSoma. It's this light around here, and although it's a light, it's considered a body as well. And a part of it stays in the psychosoma when it's projected, but part of it stays in the physical body that we call soma. Okay, so the EnergoSoma divides itself a little bit in the psychosoma, a little bit on the soma. And there is also the vehicle called mental soma, and this vehicle here is considered the mental body. We are going to see the characteristics of each one of them. And there is this energetic appendix here represented by these waves that is called the golden cord, that connects the psychosoma to the mental soma. So we can mention here that these vehicles, for example, we have two kinds of out-of-body experiences. The one that is more common, that is this one with the psychosoma, and a second type that is this with the mental soma. And here in this picture, what happened is that she projected herself first through the psychosoma and then probably with the mental soma. But what can happen, and usually happens, is that the person can have a direct projection from the mental soma, and the psychosoma stays very near the body, also kind of sleeping, not acting in the extra physicality, and only the mental soma goes to the mental somatic dimension. Okay, that's possible too. And we people, we teach this kinds of projections and their characteristics in our courses at Reaprendência, in our entry courses. That is something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, because we have a new course coming up in March. So we have a question. If we have several bodies or vehicles of manifestations, where are they when we are awake? For example, we are here in the physical waking state, and where are those bodies? It's a very good question for you to think, because, well, people think, what is happening with my other bodies, that I don't see them. You don't see, but you can perceive, right? And what we say is that when we are awake and now in the physical waking state, they are all in alignment. They are all together. The four vehicles, the soma that we see, the psychosoma, the EnergoSoma that involves everything, and also the mental soma, it's all there. Each one is vibrating in a specific frequency, in its own frequency. As I told you, the mental soma is much more subtle, right? But they are all there. And we can make an analogy with this doll. Do you know this Russian doll, the Matryoshka? So we can say that, you know, that these dolls, it's a very common doll in Russia, and they go one inside the other. And for example, if the consciousness is this first one, and then the consciousness goes inside the psychosoma, and then there is the EnergoSoma, and then there is the mental soma, right? And they are all in a bigger one, let's say, put this way, making an analogy with the soma, the intraphysical body, right? And we can make other analogies, that the consciousness is something different from its bodies. Consciousness is the driver. Another analogy is the space suit. So we have our bodies, but let's suppose we have to go to the moon or to the space, so that we can be adapted to that dimension. Because there's no oxygen, we would have to have a specific exoskeleton, a specific body for that dimension. So we make an analogy with the space suit as well. And another one is the diving suit. If we go under the water and we have something to do over there in the water, then we will need a diving suit. Hopefully not so old like this one, but I think it represents very well what we are trying to say. But it's another vehicle to adapt yourself to that environment. So it's the same that happens with our bodies, okay? And also we can say that the consciousness itself never touches the physical reality, because what touches, in fact, are the vehicles, mainly the physical one, right? So far, so good, people. Do you have any question?
So,
Here we have
Eliane,
another.
yes, very, very interesting what you're saying. So, I have a doubt here, Eliane. All of us have this, may have this experience at night, or because you said that when we sleep, it's possible, no, to go throughout the body. But does it happen to everyone, or is it necessary to develop something special, or is there any technique that we can do to perceive these bodies?
Yes, there are many techniques, and we don't need to be asleep, Claudia. We don't need to be asleep. Very good question. Um, in fact, we can promote these projections of consciousness and see and perceive those bodies even when we are awake. But we have to train to do that. We have, for example, we can sit down on an armchair during the day and relax and do some energetic exercises, moving the energies. I'm going to show you that
Okay.
movement. We have here a slide about it, and then you will promote the discoincidence of these vehicles, and probably with the training you promote the out of body experience uh, by your will, through your will.
Okay.
And it's very common. And then you can see, because if you kind of provoked this
Mhm.
phenomenon, then you can be aware in the extraphysical dimension and try to see how the vehicles behave. And so
Oh,
that's exactly what we are going to talk a bit more from this slide on. Is our basic question here in this webinar is how can we perceive each vehicle.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
the first
Thank you.
thing, people, the first thing is, you're welcome, Claudia. And the first thing is to know how they work, how it is. And also, let's understand a little bit more about the extra physical dimensions. So let's suppose you are now either sleeping or doing some exercise to go out of the body, and we talk about these exercises during our courses and this also these contents here. And then you are connected, your your soma or physical body is connected to the intraphysical. And when you are relaxing and working with energies, you will get in contact with this dimension here that is called dimena. Dimena. The dimena is called, considered the three and a half dimension. It's named because it's partially it is intraphysical and partially it's extraphysical, right? And so it's when you are, for example, you project yourself out your body with the psychosoma in your room, in your sleeping room, right? And then you can see that environment in a extra physical perspective. And if you go a bit further, you will have the energetic dimension. And also we have the tropospheric dimension, that is that from the terrestrial crust, that is more near this intraphysical dimension here. It's near. There are many extra physical consciousnesses that are there. They have already passed away. They have already died and lost their somas, but many of them don't know, and they are there. And it's there are projected people, some more rough environment, extra physical environment. And then you can also go to the extra physical dimension that is more subtle than the tropospheric. And finally, the mental somatic dimension. It's very important that we understand this, and we are people, we are here dividing those in this like circles, just to show you how it works didactically. We are trying to be didactic with you, but there is not a specific line. They kind of mix each other. But what we have to have in mind here is that the farther you are from your body, you might go in a more subtle dimension. So the extra-physical dimension is more subtle than the tropospheric, and also the mental somatic is even more subtle than the extra-physical. Okay, and so I'm representing here someone projected and with the silver cord, right? And let's see, okay, how can we perceive the soma? Well, this is easy. We can all perceive our soma because it's the physical body used to manifest in the physical dimension. It's formed, it has a muscle skeletal structure, and it has a lot of chemical and electrical reactions. There are many systems working at the same time, not only the muscles but there are veins. We have also the blood, the veins, nerves. It's very complex, and medicine studies a lot. We have a lot of information about our soma. What we can say that although it seems rustic, it is very fragile, and we have to take care of it because it's the vehicle that allows us to be here in this dimension, and that make us stronger as consciousnesses, because we can do a lot of things here that we weren't able to do in the extra physicality. So my question for you who are watching us is, do you take good care of your soma? Because many people don't valorize your intraphysical life. And it's very important that if we are here, we have this opportunity to live and to meet our groups, our evolutionary groups. So it's very important that we be aware and take care of our soma, because it will help also to balance the other vehicles. Okay, so think about it. So let's talk about the psychosoma, and I want to tell you an experience of mine. So the psychosoma is the vehicle that is similar to the soma, as I told you, and it's more subtle. And the person can go out of the body and perceive how it works. It can volitate. It has a natural luminosity. It's much more flexible. It also has a zoom vision. You can see, for example, if you're up in the sky, seeing an extra physical dimension, you might have a zoom vision and see something that is happening very far. And it's very elastic, I told you. And it's also invisible, because if you are projected in a room full of people, they won't see you. They won't see you unless they have an ability called clairvoyance, and they can see someone. If someone has the clairvoyance developed, then probably this person can see the projected ones that are there. Okay, but it's also it's invisible and inaudible in the intraphysicality. And there are other attributes of the psychosoma. And something that is very interesting is that the psychosoma can be projected very far from the intraphysical environment. And that's, for example, here we have in this picture, we have what we call exoprojection. That is a projection on the psychosoma goes to the space and sees the sidereal space. And it has happened to me once. It was very interesting because I was doing the exercise. I didn't know Conscienciology in that time. Was 2 decades ago, but I never forgot the experience because I was moving the energies. I had another lines of studies, and I was moving my energies um, from the head to the feet, and increasing the speed of that movement of the energies. And I started to getting this coincidence, and all of a sudden I went out of my body and I went super high, and I saw the space, and I was super afraid of looking down because I was very high. And then I when I thought about the idea, I have to see down what is happening. I got so afraid that I came back immediately to the body, to my body. And I woke up very scared with tachycardia because it was really a remarkable experience I never forgot. And other times I had uh, other types of exoprojections, but I was not so afraid anymore because then I was able to understand after I knew Conscienciology, and I started studying about that. That's something that happens, and it's safe, very safe, because we have the silver cord that connects us with our physical body, and it's totally safe, no problem. But the point is, sometimes when we don't have the information, we might get scared. And I had other ones, but not so strong as that first one. So I wanted to share this experience of mine so I could see the attributes of the psychosoma. Okay, well, we talked about the psychosoma. It's what else is known as body of emotions, because our it's very, how do I say it, connected to our feelings, sentiments, emotions, and sensitive to it as well. Um, let's talk about the EnergoSoma, that is the next vehicle. And
Eliane,
yes,
we have a question here from Marlon. Okay. He's asking, how could we treat well our psychosoma?
It's a very good question. Well, our psychosoma, if we go back a little bit, is the body of emotions. So we have my suggestion for you, Marlon, is that we take good care of our emotions. And something is that helps is the self-knowledge. So last week we had a lecture about self-knowledge with teacher Fabiana Cerato. Because if you know how you work, how are your feelings, why are you feeling some discomfort, or you having good feelings or bad feelings about someone or some situation, if you understand how you work, what are your mental schemes, and even your what we call paragenetic, what are your how is your temperament, then we will treat our psychosoma better. And something that I also recommend, for example, is that we try to know ourselves and to have inner peace, and try to reconciliate as much as we can with the ones around us, and practicing and trying to put into practice in your everyday life the culture of peace, avoiding to confrontate, to cause dilemmas that are will lead to nowhere. Okay, trying really to reconciliate with the ones that we have more difficulty to live with. And I think it's a very way to treat our psychosoma, to develop our self-esteem. And that's it.
Thank you, Eliane. That's a good explanation.
Thanks, gente. Thanks, people. Well, going a bit further, let's talk about the EnergoSoma that is very much connected with the psychosoma. So, people, the EnergoSoma is known as energy body or holochakra. And it's luminous, vibratory, and invisible to eye. It has two main functions: vitalize the human body because it absorbs, it's composed by many thousands and thousands of chakras, and it absorbs the immanent energy and distributes to your soma and also to the psychosoma. So when we are thinking about treating well the psychosoma, if you vitalize and treat well your EnergoSoma, you will be distributing energy all over and making you feel better, more motivated to do your recyclings, your personal recyclings. So EnergoSoma is what we call what links the soma with the psychosoma, and it's the body that Chinese medicine works with it. Acupuncture and homeopathy, they are lines of studies and healing systems that use and act directly in our EnergoSoma because it's made of chakras. Chakras are energetic vortices. And it's very important because we can absorb energies, exteriorize energies, and this exteriorization of energies can also assist the ones in need, and we can distribute energies to all our organs, vitalizing them to all our cells. And it is not an instrument of lucidity. It doesn't have a form of a body. For example, what that means, no, it's not an instrument of lucidity. It means that the EnergoSoma divides itself when we are having a projective experience, right? As I mentioned before. And if your psychosoma is too carried, too heavy with the energies of the EnergoSoma, the tendency is that you will have less lucidity. The idea is that you mobilize that energy to stay in the soma, and you go with the lighter psychosoma to the extra physicality, because then you're going to acquire more lucidity. So that's an interesting information for you to develop better and to be more aware in this extra physical environment. He cannot be totally projected, because what happens if it is totally projected? It's the soma, or physical death. Physical death. We are going to talk about the soma very soon. The soma is the discard of the soma, or physical death is another name. So here are the main chakras of the EnergoSoma. We have the plantar chakras on the feet, sexual chakra, umbilical chakra, and this is splenical chakra here, that is a little bit above the umbilical chakra, and it's responsible for absorbing great quantities of energy and distributing it all over. And the cardio chakra, it's here in the region of the heart, laryngeal chakra on the throat, frontal chakra on the forehead, and coronal chakra on the top. Also, we have the nuchal chakra and the Paulo chakras that are very much used for exteriorization of the energies and doing assistance to others. So here are the main ones. We have, each one has a characteristic and a function. We can, what we can point out is that the chakras, we'll talk about the two noble chakras that are the ones that are on our head. For example, the frontal chakra is known as third eye, is responsible for this ability of clairvoyance to see occurrences in other dimensions. And sometimes we can feel it pulsing because it's activated. And there is also the coronal chakra that is very important. It's a noble chakra as well. It's on the top of the head. Is very important, related to our mental soma. And it has connections with the pineal gland, with the rationality. And in fact, each, as I told you, each of these chakras are related to an important human organ. How do you perceive your EnergoSoma? You can work with energies. You can really, if you are aware, if you know that you have an EnergoSoma, you have chakras, you can activate these chakras through pulsation. There are exercises that we do during our course that you activate each one of them, and you will balance, because some chakras might be with more energy than others, and then you distribute them better through these energy exercises. And another way to perceive the EnergoSoma, your EnergoSoma, and also the EnergoSoma of plants, for example, is if you do some energy exercise in the nature, with a tree or even with rocks. And you can see that there are trees, people, that donate energy. Their energy is welcome, is more soft. And there are other kinds of trees and vegetables that absorb energy. They don't donate, they absorb. So it's very interesting. You see the different standards if you practice these exercises. And another exercise that is very interesting for you to perceive the energies that your EnergoSoma can concentrate and manage is this exercise of the ball that you form. You put your hands, your palm chakras, near each other, parallel to each other, and you exteriorize through your will, you exteriorize energies, forming a kind of ball of energy, and you can feel it. And if you are doing that in two people, you can transfer that ball of energy to other people, and the person will get that ball of energy and will be able to feel it. So it's very, very interesting. So it's some types of exercise for you to perceive your Ola chakra. But there is also other activities that you can perceive it. And here we have what I call, it's a very, very useful exercise for you to do. It's called the vibrational state, and it consists in you absorb the energies through your will from your plantar chakras and take them to the top of your head. And then you start moving them. You start moving them from the top of the head to your feet and vice versa. And then you accelerate. After you start perceiving, you accelerate the movement as much as you can. And this will lead you to what we call vibrational state. Then it's when you activate all your EnergoSoma, and it's useful for deblocking unblocking the chakras, to distributing energy to all the vehicles, to energetic defense, and to clean environment, to disassimilation of pathological energies. It's very, very used, and there is no counter-indication on it. Okay, it's very easy to do as well. And the more you practice, more you're going to feel it. Okay, so this is something we practice in our courses. And we have also the mental soma, that is the most sophisticated and complex body. It produces projections with the highest level of lucidity and clarity. So while when you are with the psychosoma, sometimes you're not aware that you are projected. You might make confusion with dreams. And when if you have a mental soma projection, that is more rare, but it's also very natural. You will have a lot of lucidity and clarity because your level of lucidity is high. And the mental soma is represented by a ball of energy. It doesn't have a human shape, a defined shape. And you really can expand your level of conscientiality. And even this expansion can be so intense that you may experience what is known as a state of cosmo-consciousness. It's also known as nirvana state. I think you've heard about it, the state of nirvana. It's in conscienciology, we call it a state of cosmo-consciousness. That is a phenomenon. It's a parapsychic extrapolationism when you feel united with all the universe and you understand you are a mini piece in this mechanism. You have awareness, you feel well. It's a very remarkable experience as well. The characteristics of the mental soma are the discernment, universal values, abstract thought, concepts. And whenever we talk about relevant subjects such as peace, philosophy, education, find solutions for a problem and solutions that will help humanity, cosmoethical solutions, then it's very related to these high values of the mental soma. Also, the mental soma is responsible for our strong will, high values, ethics, cosmoethics, organization, self-discipline, everything that is really good and evolutionary. And the holo memory. What is the holo memory? Is the total memory that we have. We keep it in this holo memory all our previous experiences, even the experiences we lived in past lives. Although we don't access many of us don't have this, don't remember their past lives, but it's all there. If you someday have a mental soma projection, there is a possibility that you access this database of your holo memory and remembers something that happened in a past life. So it's all kept in your mental soma. That is this more subtle and more evolved vehicle. Okay, we have here a picture representing the mental soma, right? It's this ball of energy, and there is the appendix that it's represented by these waves, and it's the golden cord. It's not a cord at all, but it's represented this way. So we have here this mental soma. People, I once had a projection that I suppose it was a mental somatic projection, because I had a problem, an everyday problem, but it was bothering me, and I had to find a solution, because that was really absorbing my energies and thoughts. And then I went to sleep with the idea of what I was going to do, with that situation. And I found I woke up in the extra physical environment and started volitating very fast, but I didn't see my psychosoma. I didn't see, because when you are with the psychosoma, you see your para hands, you see your para arms, you experiment the psychosoma. And I didn't see that. I only was aware, very aware, and was flying, volitating very fastly. And while I was volitating, a solution, a possible solution, a logical solution for that problem came to my mind. And I like an idea in a block, came in a block idea. And then someone appeared in front of me that I suppose it was my extra physical helper. That is an extra physical consciousness that helps me in my evolution, and many people have extra physical helpers. And the person appeared to me and said, that's it, go ahead, this is the way to take. Like he was confirming that my decision, I had to take a decision about some problem, and that decision I had that came to my mind was the right one. And so I woke up very aware, very lucid. All that information came to my mind. It was different from all the projections I have had before. And I consider that a mental soma projection. So it's possible to happen. Yeah, I hope if you have any kind of mental somatic projection and you want to tell us in the comments. Put your describe your experience, or just inform us if you have had any type or even any psychosoma projection that was remarkable for you, was interesting for you. Now we are coming.
So, Eliane, that's very interesting. I hope we have another opportunity to go deeper. But sorry, our time is running out, and we still have an invitation, right? To do for everyone.
Yes, we have, Claudia. But I think we have some minutes more still, Claudia, because it's 9:54.
Okay.
I think
Take our time.
just this last slide here, because it's very important that we mention these three kinds of the soma. Okay. It's very, very fast. And then I'm going to make the invitation.
Okay.
So, people, after we get to know all our vehicles of manifestation, we are going to talk about the deactivation of them, or what we call the soma, right? So we have the first the soma, that is the deactivation of the physical body. It's the biological death, commonly known. It's considered the final projection, and when there is the rupture of the silver cord. There is also another kind of the soma, because after the soma, we lost the body, the physical body, but we are maintained with the psychosoma in the extra physicality. And part of the EnergoSoma is also together with the psychosoma. then it's necessary to deactivate the EnergoSoma. And then we go through the second Soma. That is the discard of the EnergoSoma. Okay, so, and the extra physical consciousness remains with the psychosoma and mental soma after the second Soma. And it can be very fast, the second Soma, depending on the evolutionary level of the consciousness, can take hours, some days, some months, years, or even decades, because sometimes the person is too much attached to the intraphysicality, and she will have difficulty in going through the second Soma. And there is the third Soma that is going to happen when we are very much evolved, and it will take many lives, and it would be the deactivation of the psychosoma, when we don't need to be born again to learn. We are so evolved that we would not be having intraphysical lives anymore, and we go to another level of lucidity, and the own consciousness decides for herself that it's time to have the deactivation of the psychosoma. Okay, no more intraphysical lives, and the consciousness become what we call free consciousness. So that's it. And now, for you to take this question, how is your homeostasis? How is your balance among those vehicles? Just a rhetorical question. Okay, you may put on the comments as well. And my bibliographical references, that's basically Projectology and 700 experiments from Professor Valdo Vieira, the propositor of the sciences. And we have an invitation for you. And this invitation is for you to participate in our course, Fundamentals of Consciousness Evolution, that is happening in the next March the 5th. Every Saturday and Sunday, starting at 9. Each class has 2 hours and a half, and 1 o'clock p.m. Berlin time, 7 o'clock a.m. New York time. And we have 20 live online classes, 50 hours in length. It's introductory level in English. Price is $95. Okay? Program it's very rich, and this course, people, exists for 10 years already, and it was given in many countries. Okay? So here are the classes will be divided in March, April, and May. And these are the classes in March, these are the classes in April, and these are the classes in May. And we will have a video for you right now about it.
Conscientiology has as its principle two realities: the consciousness, which is the ego, the self, the individuality, and the bioenergies. Within these realities, one of the pillars of research is the holosoma, a set of vehicles for the manifestation of the consciousness. In this intraphysical dimension, these 4 vehicles act simultaneously together and at the same time. The first we call the soma, or physical body. The second is the EnergoSoma, or energy body. The third is the psychosoma, or emotional body. And the fourth, the mental soma, or mental body. In this image, we can see the 4 separate vehicles, and within the different areas of study of conscientiology and the personal experiences of people performing self-research, we identify one by one their characteristics, their properties, and so that we can understand their functioning, objectives, and achieve a state of balance between them. We will now have, beginning on March the 5th, 2022, on Saturdays and Sundays, the Fundamentals of Consciousness Evolution online course. This is an entry course with the basic concepts, with 20 lessons and being 50 hours in length. It is a complete course. If you have any affinity with the concept of the holosoma and the idea that we manifest through 4 different bodies in this and other dimensions, come and join this class. And for those who already know about conscientiology, you can take this time to recycle and study more. We hope to see you there.
Very good. People, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us. If you have any doubt, inform us in the chat that we will be answering them, okay? Claudia.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eliane. There are some comments here. Okay, then everybody thanks you a lot. Okay, so and I'm sure these ideas will help us further comprehend our existence and expand our knowledge about ourselves. Okay, and we hope, people, this was enlightening and informative. And if you have any questions, please feel free to add them here in the comments section, and we will do our best to answer them. So next Saturday, join us where we'll have Jacqueline Cohen talking about multiple lives and the cycle of birth and death and its importance to the evolution of consciousness. So all links are below in the description. And if you want to know more, follow social media and subscribe to the channel. We'll meet you again next Saturday, same time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy evolutionary journey.